So today we're going to work on the greenery in this painting. So in here I see a couple of really nice branches. So with a pencil crayon, white pencil crayon, I'm going to draw freehand a little bit of a couple actually of branches. And what I'm going to do is paint inside them, lighter green inside them, and leave that dark in there. So when I erase the white pencil, I'm going to end up with a nice shape of branches in here. I'm not going to do too much, just a couple. Right, now let's take, for now, some sap green. I know in the reference there's something in there. There's a fence in the back, and you see a little bit more. You see a little bit of the fence. This is yellow ochre, sap green, yellow ochre, some white, titanium white. For now, I'm going to use a round, small brush. I don't need much. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of sap green, more of the yellow ochre. I'm going to go in between. And you see now when I erase the white, it will look really nice. Maybe a little bit of white in there. Yeah, needs a little bit of white.
But you're painting on the branches or around the branches?
Around the branches. In between. Oh. Yeah, in between and around them.
Okay.
I'll pause after so you can catch up with the... You can start seeing them. You can start seeing the branches. But instead of adding the branches on, because we have dark already in there, we can do it this way. Or you could just add branches on top. This is just a negative painting, just another way of showing you how to do this. But you're welcome to do it in any way, just adding it, adding them on the other way around. Just adding the branches on. Okay. I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'll erase all of that white crayon, and then I'll start adding the greens on top. I'm gonna pause for a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna start adding leaves. You can use a round brush or a flat, and usually for something like this I use the flat brush, and I use the corner of the flat of the brush. So I'm going to take sap green, cadmium yellow light, and with the corner of my brush, actually more yellow. Yeah, it's really light in this corner. And just kind of from in, out, this way, especially in this area here where it's kind of out. If you know so they look like they're kind of fluffy, not too heavy on this side. Take a bit more of sap green, darker, a little bit darker now, and just continue with the same. Let's bring in some of this over the house. I really like how it overlaps with the house. I mean, if you look at the reference, it goes all the way to the window. Okay. I'm going to introduce a bit of sap green and yellow ochre. And down here, whoops, change it a bit. Change the green a bit by introducing sap green and yellow ochre. This is the kind of the greens that are down underneath. Highlighting the top part, same, sap green, yellow ochre, a little bit of white. Let's go back. I'm going back to sap green and yellow ochre, and I'm going to just put some in here. All right, that's good. Shouldn't overdo it. I think I need to highlight this part a bit more. So I'm going to grab some more of the yellow ochre into the sap green. You know what? I'm going to add white because it's going to dry darker. All right, let's do that. Yeah, that might work. All right, I don't want to overdo it. That's good enough. This will finish this part of the painting without putting too much detail. I'm going to push the lawn in a little bit in here. Because it was heavy on this side. And just kind of give it a bit of highlight in here. Although I did highlight it last week, I think. Now, very simple highlight for this part, for the bush or the greenery that is next to the house. Keep the bottom part darker. It gives it a bit of a shape, heavier shape. And I'm going to highlight the top part again a little bit more, because I know this is going to dry darker. I'm going to take sap green, yellow, and a little bit of white at this point. It's drying darker anyway, already. So I'm just going to highlight a little bit with the corner of my brush. Just kind of gentle dabbing. Perfect. Good. All right. Let's do this part. And then I'm going to pause. Good. All right. I'm going to pause. Okay, now let's work on the tree on the left-hand side. Same brush. So I need, because I want to keep the brush stroke small, and at the same time I need texture. So I'm going to dip my brush in water and then add Sap Green, and Cadmium Yellow Light, mid-tone. Not too light, mid-tone. And I'm going to come here. And again, with the corner of my brush, let's bring this down a bit. I'm just going to very kind of light touch. I am not trying to create a shape of a leaf. Sometimes it will happen just by using the corner of your brush, it will happen. But mostly what's important to me is not to lose the darks in there. So I don't want to do too much mid-tone, because I'm going to highlight as well on top of this. I want to still see some of the darks to keep that depth going, illusion of depth. Oh, geez. Make sure that you don't go in the same direction. From time to time, turn your brush around. It's like dabbing and moving my hand. This thing here is, I have to put some dark in there. It's dark green. Now, when I start working on this part, I'm going to switch to round brush. But for now, this brush is good. So you see this here is a sharp, dry paint right here. So in order to make it fluffier, I have some raw umber here and sap green. I'm going to mix them together. Again, with the corner of my brush, I'm just going to soften this harsh edge on the side with the darks. And actually, I'm going to put some dark in here because I don't know what happened. Okay, this is good. And see how now I got rid of the sharp line. And I'm just going to continue now with the midtones. We're shaping the tree now. And I'm going to extend all of this. So I'm looking at this shape, the shape more than what it is, like more than its leaves. It's kind of the shape of the grouping of these leaves, how they look. Okay, and that's going to go over here. All right. Yeah, that's nice. I can still see sharp line. All right, now it's better. Okay, I can still see a sharp line here because it's drying darker, but that's okay. Slowly, slowly with the highlights, I'll get rid of it.
Looks pretty good to me.
It's a lot of dabbing.
Yeah. When I got up, I managed to smear my brush with green paint across my brown wall, and it won't come off. All over again. Oh God.
That's okay. That happens all the time. My studio is full of these little.
Maybe I'll put a plant there.
Yes. Oh, on the painting. You mean the painting itself?
Painting.
Oh.
put my brush down because I had to go turn the light on, and I guess I wiped it across the canvas as I put it down. Some came off, but anyway, no big deal.
That's fine.
Happened to be on the wall. I put turquoise on the wall.
Well, that's what mine's green on the wall, so we matched.
It was hard to get off. I had to cover it about 5 times.
Yeah, I've got a blob of turquoise on my wall too. At least you're not alone, Hazel.
That's fine. Yeah, some colors are harder to cover than other colors.
Well, I thought I'd just done it, and I thought I'd be able to just wipe it off, but
Yeah, acrylics, geez, no, it's hard.
Rupan will be okay with her oil paints if she does that. She'll be able to fix it.
Who?
Rupan's going to do oil
Oh,
paints.
yes.
I like doing oils.
So I'm highlighting a little bit now with more yellow.
Okay.
And just in certain areas. Not everywhere, of course. And I'm going to put the red very soon. And some twigs. So more yellow, less of the green. Of course, there's green in that yellow, but less green. And just again with the corner of my brush, just dabbing here and there. Of course, once the more highlights you put, like yellow, in here, the more you're going to see the shape of the what you're creating. You know, so keep an eye on how the highlights are showing on your canvas, meaning you don't want straight line or a triangle, perfect triangle, or, you know, just keep it kind of organic if possible. I know the color is a bit different here, but I'm going to keep it just the way it is. Just colors, the same color. I'm not going to change. In the reference, there's some yellow ochre in there, but I think it's above this rooftop. Whatever is in front of the rooftop is kind of the same color. Yeah. And I think that yellow ochre is from what the trees behind, not from this tree. Okay, that's good. Let's leave it for now. I'll move on to putting some reds. So I still have darks, medium, and a bit of highlight. Actually, I'm going to highlight a little bit down here. So when I highlight this part, it will look like it's over the wall. Here we go. Okay. Let's take some red, and I have here Cadmium Red Medium. Really? Seriously? Jeez. All right. All right. Again, with the corner of my brush, I'm going to take some Cadmium Red Medium and a little bit of raw umber, just a tiny bit of raw umber. The reason I'm taking raw umber right now and mixing it with the cadmium red medium is just because I want to darken the cadmium red medium a bit, so I can highlight it with only cadmium red medium. So I'm going to come here, and again, I'm going to keep an eye on the distribution of where I'm putting these flowers. Size, location, couple here, soft ones, again, three in here. In between, I'm just going to put dots a little bit here and there in between, not much, and then I'm going to put a little bit more here. Okay, it's good. Okay. Clean my brush. The cadmium red light only, no brown. And I'm going to highlight it with just cadmium red light. Sorry, cadmium red medium. Corner of the brush. I'm leaving some of the dark showing, dark red. So some of them will look like they're in front and some of them will look like inside. These are inside. I'm going to keep them there. These ones are in front. So I'm going to highlight them. Highlight a couple here. Yep, it's good. Now, round brush, raw umber, sap green. Make your color more of a watery, so it's glaze, kind of like a glaze, and it's easier for the brush to slide. So what I'm going to do is just kind of create an illusion, or this is too watery. Twigs.
Color again, Lionel?
I'm using raw umber and sap green. I know there's one that goes all the way down here in the reference over like this, which I really like, so I'm going to try to see if it works. And at this point, with the corner, with the same brush, I'm just going to take some green with the same brush, and I'm going to put some leaves in here. Now, when I'm doing something like this, I like to have a couple of floating leaves. Just makes it fluffier. It looks fluffier. I'm highlighting because this is heavy. Because it dries heavier. You know, it dries darker. So it looks heavy. I'm highlighting the greens with cadmium yellow light, sap green, and some white. It's all, you know, with acrylics, always, you have to always wait for it to dry and then go back and adjust your values and your highlights. Now again, with the same colors, sap green, yellow ochre, white, I'll put them, this is really light now. This is where I am kind of showing more kind of a leaf shape with round brush. Not everywhere. That's enough. Last thing, I promise it's the last thing I'm going to do. It's raw umber and white. And I'm going to go in here and with this brush, raw umber and white, I'm just going to put a couple of twigs. Let's see if this is going to be, yeah, it's a good color. It's okay, put them randomly. It doesn't have, they don't have to look in a, you know, specific. Just kind of creates a bit of different texture, different movement, different color in there. And that's it. That's all we need to do. Okay, so this project is done. So off camera, what I did is I did a bit of, you know, highlighted some of these stones on the ground in front of the gate. I highlighted some of the stones in here, just a little bit to give them a bit more sharper edges. I added a step in the back using raw umber and white, just kind of raw umber and white over here to create a step. And then I put white over it, just kind of a thin line of white. And that's it. We're done.